Good day once again, grade 11 learners of Divine Word High School of the Naili, and also for those who use Squeeper, for those who use Squeeper, and for the learners of the TAS, to Gigahertz, the school system, or anyone who's interested about this talk. So the title of this lesson or lessons, the grand title is Why We All Need Philosophy. This is a question posted by my favorite author, Mark Manson. Why we all need philosophy? Bakit ba may subject na filosofiya sa senior high school? Introduction to the philosophy of the human person. Why? Ibig sabihin may kahalagahan nito ang filosofiya. For me, I believe that I do not favor so much the performance task of learning. I am much for the purpose task. No? The purpose of this lesson. Yeah? For example, what's the purpose of mathematics? No? What's the purpose of this performance task? No? What's the reason behind it? What's the meaning? That's for me is what matters really in learning. The purpose. For me, learning is much of teaching students how to think critically, critical thinking. No? Kasi andyan naman na lahat ang information sa Google, sa Wikipedia. So, importante is how to think critically. Some question is, why we all need philosophy? Importante bang filosofiya? So, I share to you some thoughts from my favorite author, Mark Manson. And I'm also recommending him to you, my dear learners. So, in the internet, 3/4 or 1/2 of his articles are free. Also audio, also videos in YouTube. Just type Mark Manson. Recently, last week, it's a good news that Mark Manson allowed his app in Google Play Store in Android phones. Dati-rati puro mga Apple lang, no? Because he's American author, so Apple lang ginagamit sa United States of America. So now he opened it for Google Play Store for Android phones, so you can also download Mark Manson app. So I'm also planning to organize a fans club of Mark Manson. If you wish to be a member of the fans club of Mark Manson, just message me because this author really helps you to improve yourself. So let's go back to the question, why we all need philosophy? Bakit ba natin kailangan ito? So, a sort of introduction. Philosophy can help us live more meaningful lives. That's what matters in life is meaning. Pag wala ng meaning ang iyong buhay, you can commit suicide. Meaning is very important. Purpose. No, kaya yung libro ni Rick Warren, no, The Purpose-Driven Life. Philosophy can help us live more meaningful lives, no, and build better societies. We just need a framework of philosophy that fits our modern-day problems. Sabi ni Epicurus, an ancient philosopher, to win true freedom, you must be a slave to philosophy. You must be a slave. No? Freedom and slavery. Pwede bang magsama yun? To win true freedom, you must be a slave to philosophy. Dapat importante sa iyo ang filosofiya. Philosophy has been a favorite punching bag for centuries. No? Sinusuntok lang ang filosofiya. The criticisms are worn and weathered. Importante ba ang filosofiya? Philosophy does not actually solve anything. Walang sinosolve ang filosofiya. Philosophers simply argue about arguing. Science tells us all we need to know. Therefore, philosophy is no longer relevant, and so on. No? Philosophy is not for the cool kids. Philosophy is seemingly lots of mental effort for little reward. No? Philosophy is not practical, nor does it solve any relevant questions anymore. Excuse me. Excuse me po. Parang si Mike Enriquez, no? Philosophy is seemingly lots of mental effort for little reward. Philosophy is not practical. No? Walang pera dyan sa filosofiya. No? Bakit kukunin yung course na yan? May course na AB Philosophy. Kami na lang yata mga magpapari ang kumukuha ng AB Philosophy o yung mga gustong mag-law para bang preparation lang para sa law ang philosophy. Pero wala talagang nag-philosopher. Nor does it solve any relevant questions anymore kasi andyan na lahat ang science. We have science, we have big data and artificial intelligence, the AI. But philosophy is useful. It's also important. In fact, I will go as far as to argue that philosophy is likely more useful and important to the average person in the 21st century than any other time in human history. Importanteng filosofiya at sa lessons na ito ay malalaman ninyo bakit importanteng filosofiya. Why do we still need philosophy? Hindi lang dahil part siya ng curriculum ng senior high school, ang intro to the philosophy of the human person. So in these lessons, these are the table of contents. First, it's what is philosophy? Ano bang filosofiya? Second, why does philosophy matter? Bakit ba importante yung filosofiya? Next, number 3, philosophy in the 21st century. Fourth, philosophy helps you question what you know. Yung mga alam mo, yung natutunan mo simula kinder hanggang ngayon. Philosophy will question that knowledge. Fifth, philosophy helps you choose how to live. Paano ka mabuhay? No? Tama ba yung paano ka nabubuhay ngayon? No? How you live, tama na ba yan? No? Sixth, philosophy helps you make an impact on the world. Anong impact natin? Anong legacy natin dito sa mundo? Importante yan. Kasi lahat tayo mamamatay. So, we need to have a legacy. And number 7, where to start with reading philosophy. So ito, kung gusto pa ninyong mag-further readings to advance in philosophy, no? Or you like philosophy, andyan ang mga recommended books, no? For beginners and for professionals na pwede nating basahin. So we go now, my dear learners, to the first lesson. What is philosophy? After discussing the introduction of this course. So what is philosophy? Ano ba tong philosophy na ito? According to Bertrand Russell, andyan po yung kanyang image, isang photo niya. Science is what you know. Philosophy is what you don't know. So, yan ang kanyang definition sa philosophy. So please take note of this. This is one of the good definitions of philosophy. At ito po ay lalabas sa exam. Philosophy is the inquiry, is the investigation, is the research, is the questioning into our understanding of reality. Inquiry, paano natin iniintindi ang realidad. Our understanding of reality, knowledge, no? How we know, and how we should live. It's the inquiry into our understanding of how we should live. No? Paano ba tayo mabuhay, ang realidad at ang karunungan. So yan ang philosophy. 3 important things of understanding reality, knowledge, and how we should live. So take note of those 3 important things na ini-study ng philosophy. Sa definition nyo sa philosophy, dapat andyan yung tatlo. Pag kulang yung isa, kulang din ang grade niyo. Reality, knowledge, and how we should live. Okay? So, kailangan na maging careful kayo sa true or false o sa multiple choice, sa essay, sa definition ng philosophy. When you make value judgments, okay? When you make value judgments to determine what is good and what is bad, you are relying upon a philosophy. Kapag nag-judge tayo, ito ay mabuti, ito ay masama. Kailangan mo ng filosofiya. Paano mo malalaman na ang isang bagay ay mabuti at masama kung wala kang filosofiya? You need philosophy. Philosophy boils down to three major questions. Kaya importante yung tatlo na sinabi ko sa definition ng philosophy. First, what is true about existence? It's about reality. Ano ba? No? Yung existence. At ang isang branch ng philosophy na nag-study sa existence is what we call metaphysics. Pakiulit, metaphysics. At yung pangalawa, ito ay base dun sa definition, is how can we know that it is true? Itong existence, itong realidad, how sure are we that yung knowledge natin is tama? No? So, ang branch ng philosophy is what we call epistemology. No? How can we know that it is true? Take note of these branches of philosophy. Lalabas ito sa Q&A. And number 3, what action should we take as a result of this knowledge? No, ito yung knowledge natin. So, ano yung action natin? And that branch of philosophy is what we call ethics. No? So, metaphysics, epistemology, and ethics. These are three important branches of philosophy. So, take note of this, my dear learners. Itong tatlong branches ng philosophy na ito ay lalabas surely sa Q&A ng inyong Quipper or kanyang mga modules. All three of these questions have resulted in thousands of years of inquiry. No? Dito lang umiikot ang philosophy. Thousands of years about sa reality, about existence, about knowledge, about ethics, and debate. No? Marami mga debate if with little consensus emerging on any of them. Over millennia, epistemology has given us science, there's epistemology, dun sa knowledge, logic and reason, economics, psychology, and many of the theories of knowledge that underpin our political systems and societies today. Even the way we govern our country ay merong philosophy po dyan, di ba? Pati ng school natin, di ba, merong philosophy. Philosophy that cares. Ang Divine Word High School of Danaili, ang philosophy ng TAS, philosophy ng iyong sariling school, may philosophy. Philosophy of education. Similarly, over the millennia, our understanding of ethics has progressed to the point where we no longer enslave vast portions of the population. Dati-rati may slavery. Pero ngayon ay salamat sa filosofiya, understanding ng ethics na hindi na natin inaalipin ang ibang tao. Vast portions of the population systematically burn people alive for their beliefs. Nangyari po ito, no? Sa kanyang pananampalataya, sinusunog kanila. Or watch people get eaten alive by angry lions in an arena for weekend entertainment. Talaga nangyari yan, ha? Sa mga Kristiyano noon. Okay? Today, concepts such as democracy and human rights have generally been accepted the world over. And this is because of philosophy. In fact, the expanding circle of empathy has grown so much in recent centuries that we now not only concern ourselves with human welfare, but we see the treatment of animals and the environment as ethical issues as well. Actually, itong Mission 500, ng programa ng ating archdiocese ay ito ay bunga ng isang filosofiya ng expanding circle na hindi na lang tao, hindi na lang hayop, kundi pati ang ating environment, our ecology, caring for our common home, no? Sa ethics. No? Kasi sabi ni Bishop Tagle noon, kapag mangumpisal tayo, wag lang nating ikumpisal yung mga kasalanan natin sa Diyos, sa kapwa-tao natin, o sa hayop. Ikumpisal rin natin yung kasalanan natin sa kapaligiran. No? It's also a sin. Yan ang Expanding Circle, Ethics, Evolution, and Moral Progress is a 1981 book by Peter Singer, bridging the topics of sociobiology and ethics. In it, Singer defines the ethical progress of history as an expanding circle of empathy. Initially, we only empathize with ourselves and maybe some family members. Later, we were able to sympathize with strangers. Yan ang message ng Fratelli Tutti, that all of us are brothers, not only to sympathize or empathize with the members of your family, but to all who are similar to us, then those dissimilar to us, kahit yung mga ibang religion. No? Now, our empathy can expand to include all of humanity and even non-human creatures. So yan yung expanding circle of empathy. And in terms of metaphysics, well, in the past 400 years, we've gone from I think, therefore I am. Malalaman ninyo sa lesson na ito kung sino nagsabi diyan. Sa I think, therefore I am, to maybe you're living in a giant computer simulation. The Matrix, yan ang Matrix, no? Yung binaril si Neo. Okay, yan yung last part ng first part. Yung lahat ng mga bala, yung siya yung the one, no? Bumaba lahat ng bala dyan. The Matrix. You already love a movie about metaphysical questions, you just didn't know it. So ang Matrix, trilogy po ito, is a metaphysical movie.